All right, we're on the record in the matter of Church v. Johnson, case D-20-615-515C, and we're in a breakout room?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. Counsel, may I have your appearances for the record? We'll start with Mr. Schoenfeld.
Good morning, Your Honor. Richard Schoenfeld, bar number 6815, appearing on behalf of Jessica Church.
Okay, good morning. Ms. Cole, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you. Good morning. Almost afternoon. Maureen Cole, number 11912, appearing on behalf of Brooks Johnson, who is on Blue Jeans.
Okay, and I see Mr. Johnson. Ms. Church, are you able to turn your camera on?
Your Honor, I know she had difficulty. There we go.
There she is. Would you? Okay, not scanned. All right, so we are here today for a continued status check regarding mom's psychological evaluation. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the report? Mr. Schoenfeld?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I have also read it, and basically, I think the bottom line, the main point is that Ms. Church is the recommendation is that she participate in cognitive behavior therapy to treat delusional disorder, and that it's recommended that she participate in pharmacotherapy to treat delusional disorder. So I'm prepared to hear from counsel on your recommendations, on your response, and what you would like for the court to do in light of this report from Dr. Sunshine Collins. That was dated, let me just put for the record, it was dated October 3rd, 2022.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you like me to start?
Sure.
So, Your Honor, obviously, I've read through the report and I've communicated with Ms. Church, and she has no problem seeking the treatment of a psychiatrist as recommended by Dr. Collins. In terms of the cognitive behavior therapy, I'm not quite sure who would provide that type of treatment, so I think the first step would be to go to a psychiatrist, provide this report to that psychiatrist, and have them formulate whatever the treatment plan is, including the therapy. And again, Ms. Church has no problem doing that, and will start out on the task of finding a psychiatrist that can assist her as a result of this report. In the interim, obviously my client would still like to have some unsupervised visitation with a minor child, and the goal that I would foresee is that as long as she is in treatment and we get periodic reports from the treatment provider that she's complying with the medication regimen and any treatment regimen, that the visitation increase over time so that she can, have some quality time with her child.
Are you suggesting that the court or the parties receive the actual records, the full records of the psychiatrist? Because I don't want to cross the line between treating provider and forensic expert.
No, Your Honor. I was envisioning where we would get a letter from the treatment provider saying that, for example, Ms. Church commenced treatment on November 10th. She's been regularly attending and following the recommendations and treatment path that's been prescribed to her.
Okay. So unsupervised visitation, what are you requesting?
Well, at this point, my request would be 2 days a week of unsupervised visitation with an eye toward joint custody once Ms. Church has demonstrated to the court that she's abiding by the recommendations of Dr. Sunshine Collins.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Cole.
Thank you, Judge. I did read the report, and some of the things in the report that were presented gave me some pause, because we spent so many days in court in this trial talking about how Jessica's mother is molesting the child and conspiring to molest the child, and then she chooses to have her mother interviewed as part of the support for her evaluation, which I thought was very strange. But the concern, I have a few concerns. Really, I'm trying to look at this from a place where what's best for the child. How can we keep the child safe? How can we make orders that will protect the child while at the same time, understanding that Ms. Church needs to have a relationship with her daughter, and that's not been lost in any of this. But we have a drug program that was completely failed. Not a single test was not a positive. We then abandoned the drug program. We haven't gone back. We haven't had any tests, not any recent tests, not any regular tests, not any random regular tests. And so, we have that issue. Then we have in the report some commentary by Dr. Collins saying that her symptoms could be a result of using drugs. It's either a mental condition, it's either heavy use of drugs, or it's maybe a combination of both. And we have some serious paranoia and I don't know what other word to use, but paranoia regarding my client and things that have gone on about protecting the child, to the extent that the child's been harmed. So now we're going to go without any safeguards in place, without any treatment having been started, without any medication being assessed, without a clean drug test, and I'm going to go straight into 2 days a week. That just does not seem like that's best for the child. We don't know if Miss Church is clean. We don't know if she's on the right medication. She's been diagnosed with some pretty serious mental health conditions that, honestly, the doctor wasn't even sure how to treat. She said that she needed to, she did say she needs a therapy, and she did say she needs some medication, but she doesn't know what kind of medication. She doesn't have all of the abilities to make a treatment plan that we can say, okay, if she starts tomorrow and she takes this pill and she sees this doctor, then, it'll immediately improve her ability to see things clearly, to her mental processes, her ability to understand what is a protective action towards her child and what's, going off the deep end, because that was the issue in the first place. Plus, there's been some serious safety concerns. I understand the boyfriend he pled to a misdemeanor, but that was a charge of assault with a deadly weapon. There are some serious concerns here. This isn't an average garden variety situation. So, while I appreciate Mr. Shumpel wanting his client to have more time with the child, and I do respect that position because she's the child's mother, so far the child is being kept safe in the situation she's in. We don't know what a psychiatrist is going to say.
Wait.
We don't know if she's clean.
You said you respect that position. I didn't hear what the position was that you said you respect. I was hoping it would come out in context, but it didn't. So.
Oh, I respect the position of him wanting to have his client have a relationship with their child. I understand that position. The problem is that we haven't had a situation of any length of time where she's tested clean from drugs, okay, number one. Number two, we don't even know what medication she might need because she either has a serious drug problem that's affecting her to the point of psychosis, or she has serious psychological issues that require medication and therapy. It's one or the other, or a combination of both. So I think until we have some more treatment, which my position includes drug testing and a drug treatment program, along with, okay, let's say she goes to a psychiatrist and she gets on medication and she says, I'm totally fine, I'm taking my medication as prescribed, but then she's using methamphetamine. How is that going to solve the issues that she's having if Dr. Collins says that it's possible her delusional disorder is a result of heavy use of drugs? So that's my concern, because she says in the report that she doesn't know if it's the use of methamphetamine that is creating her symptoms of delusional disorder, or if it's a psychosis, that's separate, like a mental health issue. Or it's possible it could be, the methamphetamine could be exacerbating the mental health issues. So unless we have, and again, and I don't want to belabor this, but we already tried the options program and she failed every single test and then stopped the program. Even after Your Honor admonished her and said, you don't just stop the program because you tested for 60 days and you were positive every test. You have to complete a clean program. But she did not voluntarily get back in the program. She didn't start a new program. She didn't offer to do residential or outpatient. There was just a complete disregard that this is an issue, and I don't believe it, and somebody planted that in my test. It was her position at the time. So I think that there's a serious issue when it comes to the drug use, at least from what we know. All we know is that she was positive. So until we see some pattern of negative tests and treatment in that regard as well, I'm not sure how we're assured that she's beyond the mental state that she's been in that caused her to lose custody.
Okay, so what are you asking for specifically? I mean, what?
Specifically, I'm asking her to follow up with the recommendations from Dr. Collins and to re-enter the options program if she wants to have unsupervised contact. Because how can we be assured that the child is safe if we don't even know if she's clean? So I'm asking for those two things. And then we can reassess whether if she's clean, if she's been prescribed medication, has an update from the psychiatrist. I agree, we shouldn't be able to go through every single record, but we should have some kind of a progress report or update from the psychiatrist or whoever else they refer her to that can let us know what her recommendations are and how she's doing with them.
Okay. Mr. Schoenfeld, would you like to respond?
Yes, please. Thank you. The focus of this was for the psychological evaluation to be returned. Now that it's been returned, and I was quite impressed with the thorough nature of Dr. Collins' evaluation, and by all accounts, Ms. Church was 100% involved in it, provided the collaterals. Dr. Collins attempted to reach Mr. Johnson on multiple occasions. He did not cooperate through the process. The doctor was able to come up with a diagnosis and come up with a treatment plan. It is a four corners completed psychological evaluation with recommendations, which is precisely what both Ms. Cole had asked for and what the court had ordered. So my client has complied with that. When we take a look at the report, it has specific recommendations that Ms. Church is willing to do and clearly can do. Go to a psychiatrist, disclose the report to the psychiatrist, get on a treatment plan, get on medications, and start moving forward, which is what we've all been looking at as the goal here. So now, Ms. Cole, because we have this evaluation and we have the recommendations that are very succinct, is going back to the drug testing issue, which is we're going in reverse. And I think the fact that Ms. Church has been going to Donna's house for 3 hours every week for the last who knows how many months, 6 months, more than that. And there hasn't been a single report of her acting erratic, acting as though she's on drugs, acting improperly, is an indication that she is not using drugs. To suggest that she go back to options when we presented evidence during the trial that the patch test is not scientifically reliable and that there's clearly personality clashes or disagreements in terms of the personnel at options and Ms. Church, is just a recipe for disaster. If the court wanted to send Ms. Church for a random urine test or hair test, that would be a different story. But I think it's crystal clear on the record in the court that the patch test does not work. So my request again, given that there's been no issues with the supervised visitation since the trial over 6 months ago, that the supervised visitation be lifted, that it be regular visitation, and that Ms. Church go to the psychiatrist, and that we provide periodic reports to the court in terms of her abiding by the treatment plan that's been prescribed by the psychiatrist.
May I say something briefly?
You don't have to respond if you're gonna address the thing about how you're going backwards, you're going in reverse, because I disagree with Mr. Schoenfeld that you're going in reverse, because we asked for this psychological evaluation to see what's going on. Now we're enlightened, now we have more information, so we can go forward. And that does not negate the fact that Ms. Cole is absolutely correct. The court ordered options, and she came back, the test came back positive. I don't want to misstate the record, but they were positive, whatever it is that they were positive. I don't have it currently in front of me. I could dig it out, but y'all have seen it. We know what it said. And then she went to ATI on her own. And yes, in the evidentiary hearing, a representative from both ATI and options testified, and their testimony was inconsistent, and they got differing results. So that doesn't rule out the possibility, and and the report from Dr. Collins is peppered with implications or findings that the possibility that it could be methamphetamine use that has led to the delusional disorder. So I don't think that Ms. Cole is going backwards at all. I think she's adding Dr. Collins' information, the report, to the information that we already had, which is the drug testing results previously. And there's been absolutely no movement whatsoever in the criminal case, correct?
In terms of Mr. Johnson having been shot, I have heard absolutely nothing in terms of law enforcement, and Ms. Church can confirm that she hasn't been contacted to my knowledge.
Ms. Cole?
I have not heard anything from the detective.
Okay.
Brooks, have you heard anything?
Mr. Johnson is indicating no by shaking his head. Ms. Church? You can turn on your mic briefly.
I have not heard anything, no.
Okay, thank you. So I did. No, I'll strike that. I definitely agree that Ms. Church should contact a psychiatrist. If she hasn't already, I would have liked to have seen that she had already done that, but she should contact a psychiatrist immediately and provide a copy of the report. Or actually, is there a way that we can confidentially deliver that report to the psychiatrist directly? Mr. Schoenfeld, do you have a runner or a courier or something that can hand deliver that?
I have office staff that could hand deliver it in a sealed envelope.
Thank you. All right, so Mr. Schoenfeld, you'll do that after Ms. Church establishes an appointment to a new patient appointment with the psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist's office, somebody with authority over there, should provide the court with regular confirmations, statuses regarding the dates of her appointments, you know, whether or not she's appeared and whether or not she's in compliant with the psychiatrist's recommendations. I don't know that we need to know what the recommendations of the psychiatrist are. Ms. Gohl, you kind of indicated that you agree with that. Does that accurately represent what you said, that we don't need to know the psychiatrist's recommendations, but just to know that maybe the dates of treatment and whether or not she's in compliance with the recommendations of the psychiatrist?
Yes, But the only concern I have is if the psychiatrist is experimenting with different types of medications, I'm not sure that we would know if the psychiatrist believes she's stable, mentally stable at that point. I mean, that would be my only concern. I guess the only thing I would say is if the psychiatrist feels that she's not that there are concerns about her ability to parent, then we should know about that. If the court's going to consider, again, the court hasn't made a ruling, but if there's any unsupervised visitation in the future and the psychiatrist is experimenting with different medications, then that would be a concern.
Well, even in this long report from Dr. Collins, it was 19 pages, 19-page report. I agree with Mr. Schoenfeld. It was quite comprehensive. But Dr. Collins doesn't indicate anywhere in here. We didn't ask her specifically, but she didn't indicate anywhere in here that there was any. I mean, I don't know enough about delusional disorder. I don't know anything about delusional disorder other than what I read in this report to indicate that the court, needs to monitor her treatment with the psychiatrist. I think that the psychiatrist can do that. And while Ms. Church is having contact with her daughter, I mean, I think as long as she's being treated with a psychiatrist and we're being informed that she's in compliance, I think that should be sufficient. Now, when I do want some kind of random drug testing, or I don't know about whether or not. I mean, what about choices? I mean, I've not.
So, before we move on to that, I don't think Dr. Collins was asked to make any opinions about parenting. It was simply to diagnose her mental health.
That's true. That's true. And I said that. I said that she wasn't specifically asked that inquiry. But
no, I don't think she would. She would opine on something that was outside the scope of her evaluation, whether or not she believed it to be true.
Okay. So it's a fair statement, Ms. Cole. So what about choices instead of options?
I haven't had any cases with them, so I would like to hear it. I don't know who they are.
I haven't either. Mr. Schoenfeld, have you?
I probably have, Your Honor, but nothing stands out.
Okay. I'm going to do this. I don't know. It was very disturbing to me that Ms. Church just stopped going to choices and she just chose to disobey the court's order. I acknowledge that she was frustrated that she was getting negative tests, but it's been that she was getting positive test results, but it's been my experience that it's positive results typically mean that there's usage, and so I tend to find them to be reliable. However, and it bothers me that Ms. Church on her own chose a different provider to have tests done that were outside the court's. The court did not order those, which was good that she took the initiative to do that, but it does tend to undermine the results a little bit because she's the one that chose the provider. She got to choose when she was going to go, when her test results might be the most favorable, and the court didn't have any say-so in any of that. But what I'm going to do is I would like to order, let's just start with some drug test today, and we'll see where she's at.
I meant to say earlier, too, I don't think anybody undermined the reliability or the scientific results of the patch test. We didn't have an expert witness on that.
Yeah.
But is this choices patch? Sorry.
I don't know if choices, I don't know.
And look, Options also did a hair test on Miss Church where there was a number of substances. Why are we, because she's complaining about getting positive tests, relocating her to a different location?
I didn't say that I was. I just said, I said she's going to be drug tested today. And the court would like to note for the record that every time we see Miss Church, I mean, she's a beautiful woman, clearly. But, I mean, every time we see her, she's colored her hair a different hair color. And we did have testimony that hair dyes can alter the results of drug tests. So, just throwing that out there.
If I may add something, I just want to note that the days that I was tested for my patch, those are the days that I got tested at the other drug testing place. So I always went on the same day.
That's not my recollection.
The patch collects the sweat from the whole week.
And so I dye my hair a lot.
You do.
They're getting drug tested and I've been dyeing my hair because I'm almost here. So
Oh, you cut out a lot. You said you've been dyeing your hair a lot.
I'm almost 40, so I have gray hair. I dye my hair.
I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you to, I don't know, it was really, really bad when she went to Options.
And she has no defense. You can't, okay, if you go to ATI where it goes back 8 to 12 hours and claim that that's exonerating you for a sweat patch that collects the entire week's worth of results. I mean, there's just no logic there.
Your Honor, I think at this point, the court has already ordered that there's going to be drug testing. The question is where she's going to get tested. And sending her back to Options when the proprietor of that business has testified adverse to my client, where Ms. Coyle has represented in subsequent hearings that individual's car was vandalized, I think would be setting her up for failure and setting up a circumstance that is unnecessarily hostile.
Well, first of all, I disagree that it was an adverse testimony. I believe that the Options owner came in and testified to protect her processes and what she does, rather than being punitive on anyone. Now, the question would be, I think, more than the argument that Mr. Schoenfeld just made, the question is if you referred Ms. Church to Options, would they accept her? That would be more of the concern that I have. If they're willing to accept her and they don't have an issue with their safety, then maybe they won't accept her because of their fears, because of the shooting, and because of the vandalism. I don't know. I know that Mr. Johnson doesn't live near them. I believe he doesn't live anywhere near them. So, I don't think that would be the concern, but certainly, yeah, her car was vandalized. And it was around the same time that Mr. Johnson got shot, so. Purely circumstantial.
All right, well, I'm gonna explore. It might end up being Options. I don't know. A lot of time has passed. We'll see. I'm going to order drug testing today, and I'm going to explore if there's any alternatives, and it may wind up being at Options. But we will issue that drug test referral shortly.
Is it hair and urine?
Hair and urine, yes. So before 5 p.m. today, might even be sooner if depending on where I get. I don't know. I'm gonna see what I can find out. And then let's come back in 2 weeks for a status update regarding that, and then and also see if she has Ms. Church has an appointment with the psychiatrist. I would like an update. The name of the psychiatrist, the appointment date and time. And Mr. Schoenfeld, if you would just submit just a one-page document, notice of psychiatrist appointment or something like that, and provide that information. Just file it and serve it in advance, and then we'll get the drug test results. I'll send the referral as soon as I possibly can. I won't go to lunch without having that taken care of. So we'll come back on November 16th at 11 a.m. for a status check regarding those two things.
You said November 16th?
November 16th at 11 a.m. And can
One
you,
moment.
if there's anything else scheduled that day, can you clear it for the 11 o'clock hour? Yes, sir. All
I
right.
can't. If it's the 16th, I can't do that day.
The 16th?
I'm gonna,
Yeah, it's the 16th.
yeah, I'm gonna settle my conference.
All right, we'll move it. Hold on.
The 22nd at 11 a.m.
22nd at 11 a.m. And again, please clear that
Yes, sir.
11 o'clock hour. All right?
Would it-
November 22nd at 11 a.m.
Okay, was 11:30 possible that day?
Is it 11:30 possible?
Yes, it is, sir.
11 is better for me. Does
I have
that,
a,
you have?
okay, I might be late.
Oh,
I might
that's,
be late. I
okay.
have a 10 a.m. I have a 10 a.m. hearing. It's evidentiary. It's supposed to be an hour, but it might go late, so.
Oh, well, that wouldn't be good. All right, 11:30 then. 11:30 on November 22nd. Okay, so I do not need an order. The court minutes will suffice for today. Oh, no, yeah. Well, and also I'm going to issue the drug test referral, so that'll be part of the order. But the court minutes should suffice.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good day.
Thank you, you too.
Yep.